average cost of a gallon of gas hit $5.16 as of June 14th. This is the all-time record high price, and since many people cannot eliminate gasoline usage or even significantly cut down their fuel costs, these surging prices have hit hard. As a result, lawmakers are naturally considering ways to provide relief, including potentially sending out another stimulus payment. Proposals to help the public cope with gas prices exist at the federal level as well as in some states. One plan put forth on the federal level, for example, is called the Gas Rebate Act of 2022. It would provide a monthly rebate during any month when the national average cost of gas is $4 or more. The rebate would last to the end of 2022 and would total $100 per adult and per dependent for single filers earning less than $75,000 or joint filers earning less than $150,000. It would phase out at higher income levels, with single filers getting no rebate once their income topped $80,000. And married joint filers losing the rebate with an income of $160,000 or higher. Now, state plans exist in certain locations because in early June, for example, North Carolina Democrats put forth a plan to send money to residents via check or debit card. The money would come in the form of a $200 rebate to North Carolina residents and would be available by October 1st to anyone who is 18 or over. Now, this is a bit different from the past stimulus checks that have come from the federal government because those were able to be deposited into people's bank accounts if they provided the information, and while these payments would come in the form of a debit card or check only. So the child tax credit in 2022 will return to conditions offered by the IRS before the American Rescue Plan expanded it. The amount of the credit is smaller, and eligibility is more restricted than last year. Under the rules which were established through the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. These changes will be in effect through the 2025 fiscal year if no action is taken by Congress to modify the credit before then. A big change to help many families last year was, instead of receiving monthly installments on the credit they did from July to December of 2021, the money will be distributed in the form of a single tax credit, which will reduce the size of the recipient's tax bill or increase their tax refund. Taxpayers with eligible children will be able to claim a credit worth up to $2,000 per child, and this year the credit is partially refundable and there is an earnings threshold. To be able to start claiming up to $1,400 portion known as the additional child tax credit. Taxpayers who owe less in taxes than the refundable amount will have it added to their tax refund. The non-refundable portion will reduce taxes owed dollar for dollar. 2022 child tax credit is available to parents with dependents under the age of 17 at the end of the year, December 31st, 2022, and who meet certain eligibility requirements. And under the credit, children ages 17 were eligible for the full amount of the much larger 2021 child tax credit. Many studies have linked the 12-month child tax credit expansion to a decrease in child poverty, and first-hand accounts for those who received the payments occurred.
Who opposed me on that score. I always, when people have a suggestion, I say, does it create jobs? Does it create jobs? Does it reduce the deficit? The national debt, and let's go bigger, the national debt. So And we always were. In any of the proposals that we put forth, whether it was 3.5 or 1.75 or whatever it was, we always had the thought that we would be reducing the national debt in all of that. And if you look at the history, it's under Democratic presidents that the national debt has been reduced. The deficit greatly reduced under President Biden. Check that out. And under President Clinton, we had pay-go instituted for the first time in an overall presidency, a little bit under President George Herbert Walker Bush at the negotiations at Andrews Air Force Base. But as a presidency, Bill Clinton, the last 4 or 5, depending on how you judge it, budgets either in balance or in surplus operationally, taking us to
approximately 666,000 frontline workers are eligible to receive this check.
In profits last year from exercising their constitutional right to form a union and collectively bargain for better wages, benefits, and working conditions. The law is clear. Workers have a right to collectively bargain with all employers. This amendment erodes that fundamental right. This amendment is a poison pill clearly designed to undermine the entire bill. I urge my colleagues to vote no on this amendment. Discussion. Senator Cassidy.
Senator Braun, real quick question. You're just saying that if McDonald's, whatever they've earned, which seems beside the point, if McDonald's comes up with material that would prevent sexual harassment, that would make people more sensitive to those who are different than themselves, they could share it with the franchisees so they could train their employers, and that would make it, that would not somehow create a joint employer relationship.
all things I think the chairman of the committee would be interested in as well, but not to where it would trigger some type of court issue by doing that.
So if we don't do this, it
Grand a year as a single filer, or 150 grand as a married couple filing jointly. Now, the bill stops short of a full exemption of Social Security income from state tax for all the seniors, which is a top Republican priority that several Democrats in the Senate also said they support. According to the Minnesota Department of Revenue, half the filers don't pay taxes on Social Security right now, but these changes mean that 76% of seniors would pay no taxes on those benefits. There's also a $100 million boost to state aid to cities and counties so communities can provide some public services without levying huge property tax increases. The proposal includes credits and rebates, but also new tax changes to bring in more revenue on an ongoing basis since most of the budget surplus is one-time money. It creates a fifth income tax bracket of 10% for married couples making more than $1 million a year and individuals making $600 grand. The current highest tax bracket is 9.85%. The stimulus checks and other types of crisis-era relief greatly impact the economy, and Congress has already created trillions of dollars into the economy, helping Americans cover some of their basic living expenses. And also pay down debt, because according to experts, the same theory should apply to the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness plan. Some people have their debt wiped out, while others will believe for their lower monthly student loan payments. The amount of student loan debt in the United States has reached a staggering $1.76 trillion, as according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Most students now take out student loans to attend college, with the average student graduating with $29,000 in debt. That means many students graduate with even more debt, which can make it more difficult to keep up with student loan payments while paying for everyday necessities. After its announcement last August, the Supreme Court has blocked Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in federal student loan debt. Until a final decision is made, everyone with student loan debt is going to remain in limbo. If the plan passes, the White House estimates the program will provide aid to over 43 million borrowers, and an estimated 20 million borrowers will see their remaining debt balance canceled. Nearly 90% of debt cancellation will actually go to borrowers earning under 75 grand a year. Analysts have already noted that the Biden's plan includes provisions to cap monthly payments for undergrad loans to 5% of the borrower's discretionary income. And this could help so many people gain more stimulus checks, everybody, in 2023. The IRS has released some very important announcements. Millions of you guys can expect to receive some bonus relief payments this month.
And by the way, there are a lot of jobs coming to people that you're going to need to train up people, thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Everybody knew, and you heard from my secretary a little bit earlier, America's falling behind in infrastructure.
But there is a deadline. Taxpayers have just a few weeks left to claim this money. And so, here is some big news. The IRS is sending refunds to more than 1 million Americans who filed their taxes late in the early days of the crisis. But there is a new deadline. The agency has announced that taxpayers have until September 30th